Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
What up? We got episode 255 live from BlizzCon.
It's the sequel you never asked for. It's 255 live from the Marriott.
Yes, hello. We are our normal crew plus a special guest because it wouldn't be a BlizzCon episode without the Cheese Man himself.
Oh, hello.
It's Papa Cheese.
Papa Cheese is back. Papa Cheese, I have to ask very quick before we get into all the crunchiness. Do you remember where the original Papa Cheese came from? If I remember correctly, it was just a vaguely Italian adjacent.
Those brain cells are gone.
because it was in the original version of this that you did coin the name Papa Cheese because you didn't have a media identity, so you just said, you quietly murmured, "Call me Papa Cheese, cheese in the house."
That's true. I actually don't remember, though, at all. What year was that? Was that
2019, 4 years ago.
Yeah, so it was at the last BlizzCon. That was in person, I should say.
God, this soul is so good. I got a soul chalada live from California.
Yeah, we picked up some libations after today's day at the con because, it's a dry convention this year. Yeah, I'm drinking a Bud Light Seltzer Retro Tie-Dye Pink Lemonade. I've never seen this flavor before.
Wow, I'm drinking White Claw Mango.
What's the Papa got? The Coors Light out of his ass.
Where's in Papa's pantry?
pretty Coors Light?
So, yeah, we will be drinking as we recap the day one of BlizzCon.
So much shit happened. I was kind of worried at first. I thought that we weren't going to get big Warcraft announcements. I was like, we're not getting a cinematic, are we? It's not coming.
Well, yeah, the sign we saw when we walked in.
Oh, I guess let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
We got in line.
Also, while we were in line, we played a whole heck of a lot of Warcraft Rumble, which is the sleeper hit of the con so far. Even to the point that after I played it, they had a little feedback thing. It's like, some feedback. And it's like, was it different than your expectations? And I said, yeah. And it was almost like it was phrased as a bad thing. It's like, what can we improve? I was like, I'm going to be real with you. I wrote this in the thing. I said, I'm going to be real with you. I thought this game would be nothing, but it's a lot of fun, actually. I did. I said, I thought this game would be nothing.
We, actively shit on the game, before being able to play it. I think I've been on the show here. We said, oh, we probably won't be playing it. I think I said something along the lines of, I'll probably download it, play it a few times, have it on my phone, and then forget about it. But so far, it came out a day early or something, so...
Yeah, it came out Thursday.
And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think it's fun. It's like tower defense, kind of.
They called it, in a video we were in line for, they said it was tower defense and offense, which makes sense because you got to react quick or use fucking spells. How do you counter spells? Help me counter spells, guys.
The game has been out for 2 days, and already there's a fucking meta that we have to Google how to beat.
Papa Cheese and I, yesterday, when we were just chilling, and we were playing PvP, the first 3 or 4 matches, we just rolled our enemies, and we're like, oh, this is easy. And then at some point during the day, and definitely today, we're like, they're learning.
Yeah, they picked up quick.
We were probably playing literal children yesterday that downloaded the app for the first time. And everyone caught up.
Speaking of catching up, we eventually made it into the BlizzCon, I'd say arena, but no, we never went in there. They had a funny little contest, a silly little AXS app thing that we were never graced with. So
yeah, I feel like every year that we've gone, people have had a lot of things to say about the security or how disorganized things are, and I feel like this year somehow didn't change any of that. It was so disorganized. There were so many lines. People were in the wrong lines. I guess even while we were sitting down for the opening ceremony in the Overwatch area, people were in line down to Ruth Chris's steakhouse. They're all the way out there.
Ruth Chris.
Yeah. And then also, I think we talked about this on the show at some point already, that they were doing this raffle system for who was able to be allowed into the BlizzCon arena for the opening ceremony. And then I saw some pictures basically that were showing that the arena itself for the opening ceremony wasn't full, because of how weird the system was.
I guess they were letting people in, just like without a line or anything. There was a what's it called? The not preamble.
The people who pre-qualified for it
No,
somehow?
to backfill the spots for people who didn't.
Standby, yeah.
The standby line. Everyone in that line got in. Every single person, and it was also down to Chris's Steakhouse.
Not sponsored by Ruth's Chris's Steakhouse.
It's just a very important physical descriptor in this story.
This is really fun to say out loud. Ruth Chris.
Yeah, so we ended up originally we tried to stake out a spot for the opening ceremony to like view from the Hearthstone Tavern. The seating there was really weird
and really weak. People of normal size and normal shape sometimes sit on the stools and they break under them, and then you have to go and pick it up and give it to an employee, and they go, "I'm just serving drinks. I don't know anything about."
Is that what he said when you gave him the chair?
Yeah, yeah. I'm the one that broke the stool, and I went to the two people at the Warcraft Tavern, and they were just making non-alcoholic silly juices, and I was like, I broke this, I'm sorry. And the guy's like, I don't care, put it back there. So he just directed me to like the backstage area.
Also, all of the menu like drinks obviously were meant to be alcoholic drinks, I'm convinced.
Yeah, they were called sours, or they were like what? They had like old fashioned bitters, but no old fashioned.
Yeah, they made this menu like a year ago, and then they're like, "Oh, we got in trouble," but then they never updated anything about it.
What was your favorite drink, Papa Cheese?
Yeah, Papa Cheese. You
favorite drink? What'd you drink?
What was your drink?
But see, but that probably was never alcohol.
You were trying to steal trade secrets. You went over there and you took a picture of how they made the drinks, and then the same employee who got nasty at me said, "Stop it."
The guy next to me took it, right, handed it to him because he wanted a picture, and then the bartender took it from him and like
he snatched it.
So
we have the secrets. We can recreate these drinks. Rip it and rip it.
Rip it.
Add it to the Patreon.
Oh yeah.
We could.
Exclusive BlizzCon recipe.
You can find that at patreon.com/do-not-relent. But we're not going to be up there.
And we probably will not be.
No, I don't want them to. They will sue us. That's our special secret drinks.
I could be the fall guy.
Fall guys?
Yeah. Hey! They have a sponsorship with the competition. We can't talk about them anymore.
Wait, the actual game, Fall Guys?
Yeah, Fall Guys and Final Fantasy 14 are like this
I
now.
want to play Final Fantasy 14 for the Fall Guys.
I can't tell if you're actually...
No, that's real.
It's real.
It's not a joke.
This is serious.
It's actually kind of cool. I kind of like it. But anyway, back to our day with the World of Warcraft and BlizzCon.
Yeah, so when we decided that we did not want to stake out at the tavern.
Chris's stakeout.
Why did I want to say, yeah, we decided not to stay at the Roost Chris?
I mean, that as well. We wandered around to try to find a better place to sit. And we have basically ended up at the Overwatch esports hall.
Yes, because we've said many a times, Overwatch had two spots. They had one which was demos and just general like Overwatch accoutrement, which I hate to say, I did not see a single person clapping their feet for. It was very much dead around the Overwatch display area, but we were in the league, the big game zone.
Like where they were doing the World Cup games.
Then they actually started to do the opening ceremonies while they were World Cupping. So like Team Korea had to silently slink out during the opening.
Yeah. And not only that, as we were sitting there, we had, 3 minutes to go till the show started.
Like, literally, the giant countdown on the screen in front of us was like 1 minute and 45 seconds.
And this man runs up to us wearing a staff shirt, and he says, these TVs are going to be showing, they're going to be showing Overwatch esports, not the opening ceremony. Do you know that? And I'm like, what?
I'm like, no, this is the first we've ever heard about this.
So we got up to leave, and so did half the other bleachers got up to leave. And they fucking showed it. He lied to us. He was wrong.
So we turned around and got back in the bleachers, but not everyone did.
Okay, who was this? Was one of you guys trying to fuck with us? Who's doing this?
He disappeared immediately.
Yeah, I never saw him again. Did he go hide in a hole?
Well, but he's like, this is where the cup match is or something. Come on. And then just went behind the vending machine.
He like vanished.
Yeah, but the opening ceremony itself was pretty hype.
Okay, do you feel like there was some weird undertones of like we made it through Bobby Kotick? Because Mikey Bear was getting
Well,
really emotional on stage.
It's tough. It's tough because during like COVID stuff was happening, and while that was happening, they were getting railed from a legal standpoint. So they're coming out here and like, we made it through
Yeah, I
the
mean,
worst. And I mean the pandemic. Like, yeah, like you said, they very easily can like tiptoe and
Yeah.
get super close. Like it's like we can't have any drinks at the place because of debauchery
I wouldn't say that.
in the world
Like
because of pandemic.
but there's just a lot of like direct eye contact. Like, he was talking to like his like support staff, like, "Thank you for sticking around." Like,
Well, I'm sure it's also emotional for him because this
Oh,
is his
yeah.
first one,
as
and
the
like
guy.
As
and
the leader.
yeah, and so many, and even as he was leading, he was supposed to have a co-leader who left because they were going to pay Ibarra more than me, and
Oh,
Oh, I forgot about
and
that.
I don't know if he
forgot.
even signed on that, or if like his superiors were like, yeah, Ibarra's the man, he's going to get the money.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of any of that.
He probably did not appreciate because people got mad at him for that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Kinda
he
sad.
cried like a big bitch baby, and then it was Overwatch time.
Well, no. Well, also there was like Microsoft representation
Yeah,
too.
Oh yeah, your boy Phil. Phil showed up.
Billy Spence showed up just to be like, we Xbox, Microsoft, we're really gonna do it.
I thought we were gonna announce Game Pass stuff at that point. Honestly.
I was waiting for it.
I think so did Phil.
But don't do it, Phil. Don't say it. So I guess I mean, we just talk about all the whatever. Mog is here. Whatever. Do we just go right to the World of Warcraft? Right?
I think last time we talked about everything a little bit. I mean, we can speed through the stuff that isn't WoW because like I care about the other stuff more.
And there's so much to talk about, I feel like. There's like
Yeah,
a lot.
Maga's here. He's neat. He's hot. He's cool. They're doing more Overwatch.
He was showing off his titties, which was appreciated.
Big hot Samoan man.
Diablo is happening. There's a bunch of silly Billy events, but the big thing is it will have an expansion at the end of 2024.
I'm sure Diablo 2 fans are excited about that because it seems like it's a callback, but I don't know anything
I
about
saw
that.
like one guy cheer. At least in our section, we weren't in the Diablo area, but
Yeah.
Papa Cheese, you strike me as an old head.
But none of us saw any of the details, right? Because we all missed the
yeah, we were all.
deep dive or whatever the hell it's called.
What time was the deep dive at?
I think it's when we were having our little interview.
Oh, I interviewed with Patrick. DNR me. Talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But then I guess we can talk about WoW Classic next.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I'm kind of excited. I don't know.
I will say though, did you guys notice? We knew that they were going to talk about WoW Classic before WoW Retail, WoW Yum, because what's her name came out?
Holly.
Well, I was like, oh boy, it's Holly.
Also, I
Holly?
just want to say this, and I feel bad. Holly might have because I think she has Invisalign, or she might have a slight speech
I
impediment.
guess, wait, why do we not like Holly? What's going on?
Well, no, just
No.
just during the virtual ones.
I don't even remember.
There's like heavy breathing.
She
during
didn't
hers.
turn her mic mute
I
on.
don't remember any of this.
And so they'd be like, "There's a lot of cool things coming to the World of Warcraft,"
No.
and she would just go in and go,
This is why we get media passes, because the people we're going to be interacting with.
Anyways, I like.
"Sorry, Holly, if you have Invisalign."
No, she did great though, and like, it was really, really interesting to hear this stuff. But like, she prefaced all of the WoW Classic stuff by talking about how they surveyed everyone about what the next path for WoW Classic should be, and I could tell just by how nervous she was to announce it. I was
Mhm.
like, "It's classic." I mean, it's classic Keta. It has to be. The way that she was acting, I'm like, that is what it is.
Because like the naysayers are always going to be louder, right?
I mean, I wasn't even there, and I naysayed. I remember when that came out, it was like, what?
We would like it, I think.
Well, except that I must have lied because it was like, what is your interest? And I was looking out for the homies who play Classic, who isn't me, but I was like, 0. I was like,
But the people
end it there.
the people that don't want Cataclysm want what the Season of Discovery, which is the other announcement.
So
They wanted. That's what they wanted. So they
Papa Cheese, I couldn't help but notice that your mean mug sliding over there. Get in.
Well, there's not enough leg room. I don't want to hit the
microphone.
suitcase table.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Envision. Okay, everyone, close your eyes with me right now, and we're gonna envision our setup. If you can't see images in your head, I'm so sorry. Just try your best. So we we got a couch that Immune and Aaron picked up and spun around between an air conditioner.
I broke. You heard that in the intro.
Yeah, bro. It's facing a bed. It's a 2-seater. Papa Cheese is squeezed in between the bed and this chair. Knees touching a suitcase, and atop the suitcase rests the microphone as I lay across a bed, feet in the air, kicking wildly.
He's kicking his feet. He's like he's thinking about a boy he likes.
I was going to say, you need to picture this in particular. Side is the only one on the bed. The rest of us are like surrounding
Thinking
him.
about J Hutch.
He has his head resting in one hand, his 2 feet off the bed are kicking back and forth. He's like just texting a boy he likes or something.
Yes.
Drinking his tomato beard.
Oh yes, tomato beers are the future. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I think again, I told on the podcast last time. I always say I'm going to try it, but this will be the easiest for us to get into
Because Kata's when it started getting.
It's like I say the beginning of the modern era.
Streamlined.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that wrong? Papa Cheese.
Yeah, it's modern because I hate it.
Like I feel like it's the divide between like the line between the Great Divide.
I mean, Mop is when they killed the original talent tree design. Was when Mop.
So we're gonna love Mop. That's what I'm hearing.
Mop is, I think, Tyre's favorite expansion.
I've always said I
It's
think
one of my
we really
favorites.
love Mop.
And it's the first expansion, basically, where they gave you like a bunch of things to do endgame that wasn't just raiding. Cataclysm is still just raiding.
Wow.
So
There's no keys, right? It's just
Yeah.
raiding.
I mean, like the keys, I guess, kind of started with challenge dungeons and Draenor, right?
Well, Mop had hard. They had their own, right?
Challenge modes were in Mop, so that's why I would consider Mop.
That's why they're all
the twist.
panda coded. You sign up for them at like your garrison, all of a sudden it's like,
Oh,
hello.
Like, have you seen people with like the silver or the
Oh, yeah.
Yeti?
And also,
That's fun.
we went back and got them at some point.
Oh, during WAD?
Well,
Before they turned them off?
some of
Yeah.
us did. One of
Yeah.
us was told he couldn't raid unless he cleared them in WAD. And then when I couldn't,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, when I'll drop anonymity.
Wait, are you talking about the proving grounds?
Proving
Yes.
Yeah.
Before I could raid in WAD, you guys are like, you have to clear the proving grounds. And then I
It's
couldn't.
true.
And then it was like, you didn't need to.
Well, because what it does is when you apply for groups, it puts a little thing next to your name, and it makes them more apt to be like, "Come in."
Yeah.
Basically, is why we were saying it was. Also, I think our New Zealand leader said we had to have it.
This is back when we were doing, what was that
Our-
fucking called? Open Raid? Is
Open rate was it?
that what that old place was called? I forget.
I forgot about that.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, yeah, Kata Classic is coming, but the other announcement was more interesting to me personally. What was its official name?
Season of Mastery, right?
Season of Discovery.
Season of Discovery.
So, Papa Cheese, you went to like the panel for WoW Classic because of but was there anything additional there, like that was announced there, that outside of what was during the opening ceremony?
Yeah, they basically tease that they're going to potentially visit locations that were maybe potentially going to be dungeons or raids in like beta of vanilla that were never finished, and they're probably going to make those into actual dungeons and
So
raids.
wait, these are entire like things we have never seen
never
before.
seen.
There's even spells. Part of like the whole gimmick is you discover secrets around the world in any given phase, and those give you spells. And some of the spells are not even spells from Warcraft 3 or any expansion of WoW.
They're just completely
They're
brand
completely
new
random
spells.
new, and like some of them clearly are overpowered. They don't really care too much about the balance. They kind of want you just to,
Have
like,
fun.
Yeah, it's not like
I love
Oh.
that.
I need a parse. Like that's not the type of gameplay they're
So,
looking for.
the Season of Discovery, is this the thing that they said they're capping at level 25 for now?
Yeah, so like every patch cycle of this version of the game is going to be a different level bracket.
So we made it at 17, right? 15?
Yeah.
Something like that?
I
So
guess,
this-
yeah.
This might actually be something
We
that
can,
I'm
we can get
interested in.
25.
And this is like the thing that they also had a demo of where they're taking a dungeon and making it into a raid, right?
They're taking Black Fathom Depths, making it a 7 raid or a 7 boss raid with 10 people at a 3-day lockout.
Oh my god,
The
there's
statistic-
so many numbers.
Yeah.
7.
It's like
three.
a
Father
lot of it.
Cheese knows this by like the back of his
Father-
hand.
Yeah, 'cause I was interested in it because it's something that one of the things that Blizzard has been kind of in a funk about is that they really haven't taken many risks with some of their games. They play it safe. And I feel like
This is crazy.
this is not something they're normally comfortable doing.
And I really appreciate that. If they do crazy shit like that's what I would play Classic for.
I think they knew that they had to bring out something alongside Cataclysm because they know that it has a reputation for being the most hated one.
There's going to be a serious drop off.
I mean, just because it happened before.
Also, because I'm a fool with these, but they've done classic as in vanilla only, and then all of these things have been building on each other, right? Like the TBC servers became Wrath servers,
You have
became Catac servers.
you could keep a copy of your character on the preceding expansion server though.
So are there still TBC Classic Realms?
One. It's like they're dead though. Like no, they didn't really keep up with them. And the only reason like the classic era servers, which are vanilla, exist is primarily due to hardcore boom, which they talked about a bit in the panel, but it's basically like they're adding a solo self-found version to the game.
Well, they have to because if they keep each individual thing, they're just going to slowly splinter their base, right? Or is that not been
It's
happening?
just one other server. It's not this. It's the same server, but you have an option to toggle your character that you can't mail, trade, or use the auction house until level 60.
Yeah.
That's all it does.
Yeah. I'm interested. I'm interested in a lot. Like there's like those two. I think. Well, I guess now that no one's all rating, now I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm gonna do that for Cataclysm, but
But the beginning
Damn.
of Cataclysm's fun.
because just
We were
like every
we were Cataclysm's greatest warriors.
well,
and
I just because
in
like,
one foul swoop, we were vanquished.
I can't quadruple
I didn't
raid.
hate Cataclysm. I'm not saying I hate it.
No, I didn't. I didn't say you did.
I just think it's the raid. There's 3 raids at launch, and the dungeons are good, and it's the last raid that everyone hates because it was 13 months of Dragon
Yeah,
Soul,
it's like what?
which is one of the like most hated raids because it's just
Is that the
What do you
one
think-
when you're on Deathwing's back?
Yep.
yeah. It's
What do
like
you
a
think's hated
reused
more?
art assets and
What do you think's hated more, that one or Hellfire Citadel?
I think Hellfire Citadel was good. So
I love Hellfire
Dragon Soul.
Citadel.
That was our
Also-
first raid. so-
Also, Dragon Soul is like only 8 bosses.
Thank goodness-
It's like very small for an end raid.
Thank goodness we had 3 years to do Hellfire Citadel because it's so good.
That was out probably just as long as Dragon Soul was.
Yeah.
That's a good raid. I don't really. Yeah.
I really like Hellfire
The
Citadel.
raids in WoD weren't bad. That's not the reason WoD wasn't looked
Yeah,
at as
it was.
fondly.
It's just
The
how
raids were
long you were
good.
there.
Yeah, the dungeons were good.
Well, I'm tired of waffling around with our old ass dicks. WoW Yum got some stuff. It got a lot of
What
stuff.
do we even? Okay, so the
Okay.
cinematic. Where we start, right? No,
Well,
no,
No, because the
No, you're
cinematic
right,
was
you're
the
right.
last thing.
you're
we did.
right.
okay. So Mr. Thrall himself is back.
Yeah, Chrissy Matz.
That's probably the big thing. Like
you
people
could-
are crying.
yeah,
just
you
because
could
they're so excited.
He was crying. You could tell how much he appreciated it because, like, there were people where I'd be like, "I love you," and then he'd be like, "I love you too." But like Chris Metzen would be like, "What's going on, my Frostwolf warriors?" And then he'd like point at like a specific group of dudes in the crowd. He'd be like,
I will say though, he brings an energy like nobody else on that stage brings. Nobody else on that stage has the charisma that man.
because he's been doing it
Yeah,
since then.
no, he slipped because like okay, so we saw him do the for the Horde for the Alliance and at BlizzCon before. He slipped back into that so quick. No one's in any of this shit for like 4 years. He did it for what? Was he at 19? He was at 19, wasn't he? For the questions?
Because he
came
only,
back in 19?
he only left in like 21. Like
It has not been 4 years.
my man,
Yeah.
and,
so he's
and,
there.
and I won't say anything, but my man Chris left when the water got hot, and he came back now that we're all okay.
This is a conspiracy theory you're putting
Well,
forward?
just all these old heads suddenly disappeared, and it's because we put a lot of time into Blizzard when some
This is why we don't have any
well, some sketchy stuff happened. I'll say it till that where is my dude? Where's Overwatch dude? He needs to answer for some things.
This is an Aaron theory. I do not sign on to this.
Anyways, back to the Wow Yum content that we got information about. I don't even okay. So like, what was the first thing that was like?
I can't leave.
Here, let me get you a beer. Strapped in my couch.
We took another beer, but because of our wonderful setup that you can picture in your head, I literally can't leave.
Well, maybe they can't picture it in their head. Maybe they're like me.
Okay, here we go. Got a beer going over the microphone. I guess let's just start with a new expansion model. We have so now we're getting 3 expansions. Getting far from the mic. 3 expansions announced at once.
Yeah, there's almost like a macro story instead of one expansion that tells a story and we see where it goes.
So they basically said, did they outright say this, or was it just the implication that they're getting away from the 2-year expansion cycle?
I don't think they specifically cited, like, we're changing it up, but they... Grip it and rip it. They said that they're changing how they tell the story of World of Warcraft in its 20th year.
And I think that's so fucking important. Because, like, after a certain point, 10 expansions, 11 expansions, you can't just keep being like, we have a new isle. We have new bosses. We have new things you've never seen before. There's water you can walk on.
Yeah, somehow we have found the 18th isle that we've never looked at, but it's 2 calendar miles away from Pandaria.
And, like, but just like now we can like they're really trying to go back to the old world. And it's funny because we are getting that. We are getting new islands discovered still in this new one, but they can have more of a reason to like figure out why we're going back to old zones.
Yeah, so basically he announced that we are so what was the exact word he used? He said we are going into the World Soul Saga.
Yes.
Like kind of like
anime.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like DBZ is like, is this the Cell Saga now? And he said the first one, which is the only one really that we have concrete information about, is called The War Within.
Wow. I need to establish that so it's not weird later.
I thought you were just being Wario. So and then after that he said that there will be one called World of Warcraft Midnight,
which I'm just gonna say, hey everyone, Aaron prediction. That's gonna be my least favorite expansion because not only is that kind of a poopy name, but it's like it's all about bringing the elves back into the narrative. Finally, you elves get a story. Well, I shouted out loud, the elves are the story.
I have some theories about that, but we can get to that later. And then what was the third one called?
The Last Titan.
So in reference to Azeroth.
I think it's going to be left up to interpret. I think there's going to be an argument for Sargeras being the last Titan. Because how the fuck is how are they going to come back? What if they don't come back? Sargeras kills them, gets his sword back, because now the sword is back in the mix, which they've said is happening. Which, you guys got to talk about your sword.
Yeah, we got called out.
Okay, so first off, I want to say, before we get into the fact that we were called out about our opinions, the first thing we saw when we walked into BlizzCon was the fact that they had a giant-ass, like, sword statue, and it was kind of funny.
It was hilarious with the first bit. I love it.
They leaned into it, too. And because they had like billboards around it saying like, yeah, that sword we remember or whatever.
What
they said.
Sword? That there was I posed next to 2 signs that said "What sword?"
You know what? They almost leaned into it too much that I was like, oh, no, you guys.
Yeah, you
kind of making it kind of uncool. Like they're doing it too much of a leaning.
But I forget exactly what we said on this program because, as I've said previously, we record the episodes and then I forget literally everything every episode. But I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron or listeners, that I think Aaron and I in particular had pretty strongly worded opinions that they would never come back to the sword?
Yes, and we said to ignore it. We said that it will just become a part of the landscape, almost like the big crack that Deathwing put in, like, Southern Barrens. Like, it's just part of the environment now. Get used to it. But I'll be damned. Chrissy Metz came out and he said, that big sword, it is important, and we are addressing it.
I'm pretty sure I said Sargeras is going to pull it out and use it.
Yes, you did.
He's going to pull it out and use it.
So the exact opposite of what they...
Yeah.
I mean, I stand by our opinions, though, because, like...
Expansion-wise.
I mean, because like I don't know, like
They said that it's going to be a thing, and there is later we'll talk about it. But in a cutscene, they're like, "It's a thing," but we actually don't know what they're going to do. They promised. They said there is a story about the sword somewhere.
and I still stand by us. I think one of our main things was we were said like we're just all a bunch of teeny Azerithians. What are we going to do about this giant sword? We can't just like yank it out.
Until
It is
Chris
true.
shows me the magic big man that will put his hand around the sword and pull it out, I still say it's not moving.
And that's why it's going to be Sargeras. He's going to break out of prison. My father's going to be dead, Illidan, and I'm going to have to go save him and avenge him and kill Sargeras. Illidan's my father.
I know.
Why are you laughing at my dad?
Inserted.
Whoa. Speaking of fathers, my father made an appearance
Oh
today.
my god! Well, that's a spoiler, technically,
For 2 weeks from now.
for 2 weeks from now.
Okay. So the demos.
Hang on, we're
Well, I know we're jumping around, but I'm just gonna do it.
okay.
I'm just gonna lean into
Yes, lean into it like the
So-
sword.
it. Yeah, I mean, if I lean up against the sword, it won't do anything. I don't think
We're too small.
we're too small. But okay, one of the major disappointments for me so far at BlizzCon is that WoW Yum's only demo is of Chapter 5 of Guardians of the Dream, the upcoming 10.2 patch.
Which goes live Tuesday of next week.
And this chapter of lore that they had us play probably only comes out in like the week of raid.
We
11 days?
we mapped it out because the end of this little zone is Furyk gets upset and goes into a Mirdrasil, and it's like chase him into there. So clearly, this is the preamble to what we'll be doing when a Mirdrasil comes out, November 20th.
Yeah, so like we were playing this quest line that we'll be able to play IRL in like 12 days or whatever the fuck. But in the storyline, there's a cinematic where my dad Velen was there.
Literally, the father.
Literally, everyone with all the shooters
Okay,
came out.
no.
It was the Avengers Endgame, but I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't feel the build up. I was just like, yeah.
Well, because we didn't play chapters 1 through 4.
Yeah, it was like,
Well,
the Druids are there, and then the Dragonscale Expedition is there, and then like Gen Greymane came out, and he was like, "We will defeat Vyrak." And I was like,
Gen was there?
Wait, so both of our dads and your daddy?
"Yeah,
I didn't even see Gen.
Gen Greymane was there, and he was like next to Lightman.
Did you guys see
Elite-
Gelbin?
Yeah, Gelbin was there.
What the fuck happened to him?
Mamul Rune Totem was there.
Papa Cheese's uncle.
He was
From
really
Neil.
he was really big too.
For
I was
my
so
marriage, though.
I was
By
so
marriage. Oh, you.
The
I was-
fucking Niffin were there.
Wait, what? Were they?
So there's
Yeah.
one quest
Yeah,
where
I
didn't see
threw
that.
a horn. I blew my horn.
They were the
out.
horn?
Yeah, no, so like there's a quest where you had to go around and like
Yeah,
rally them
yeah.
with your horn. There's a group of Niffin you could rally.
I didn't see the
like
Niffin.
literally all the shooters were there, and I'm like, what happens in 1 week's time where Gen even knows what we're doing?
How did we
Or
wake up
cares?
Megatorp from out of his like? Wasn't he in like a cryogenic sleep in Mechagon? Remember he like died and they pulled
I
him
like
out
how
there?
you pronounce that.
Well,
Mechagon.
you gotta say it
Also,
differently.
no, he just was really happy that he got Mechagon, so he's like, I've got such a gnomish boner, I'm not going to move anymore. Because he kept porting gnomes to Mechagon. That was his big shtick for the last 3
Oh,
years.
you're right. I forgot about that.
Because we did a whole cutscene where we gave him an Iron Man heart.
So there's no build up of that in 10.1.
No,
Like
so far, no.
As of
No,
none of that.
yet, we
Oh.
don't even know where Gen Greymane is.
We have never seen him.
And we've not given him a letter as to what's happening on the Dragon Isles. In 1 week, he will know about Fyrakk and be like, I'm ready to defeat him.
So there's two possibilities. As one, there's like no build up, and every like character that's in any book shows up to the end of the 5th chapter, or there's something that explains that in chapters 1 through 4, which we haven't seen.
I have a feeling it's gonna be Khadgar. It's good because Khadgar was the one who was there. He probably
You've seen the
said that.
cinematic.
So it's
Also-
probably like I will get people for
Also,
us.
because Khadgar's been gone since the end of Vault of the Incarnates, he just left and he was like, this is heavy shit. So he probably has just been grabbing people for the last 2 patches.
Why just be the biggest spoiler? And we actually got huge like news from BlizzCon, and no one knows it yet.
We
like,
should just lean into it and do Khadgar doing like the Doctor Strange.
yeah, just do the
portals.
whole fucking
Yeah,
one for one
really
shit.
It kind of was
That's
very
it
much like
was.
the camera
Yeah,
was
Yes.
landing
we were
that
coming
way.
through druidic portals and like 3 to 4 shooters were coming out of every
But when
one.
it happened, I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "What?" I'm looking around at Ahoy. because we had our Gildy Ahoy with us, who skips every cinematic. He says, and so he was like, he said, "This is the first time I'm ever watching a cinematic." He said to me, he goes, "I will skip it easily when we go to the next time." And I was like, "I love it."
So we got like 4 or 5 heroes go into the Shadowlands to defeat the god of death, but then we get everyone for Farak.
No. Listen, it's like you don't have the entire presidential list of successors in one room in the Shadowlands. That's too dangerous. If you're on Azeroth, it's okay. They can all be in one spot.
Yeah,
But they did go in the dream.
You're right. It's
fire.
We've gone in and out of Dragonflight portal, so it's like, it's bet. When Anduin went into one Shadowlands portal, he got fucked up for years to the point that he's sitting looking like a Dusty Daddy in the War Within trailer.
Dusty Daddy.
Which do we also Fyrak? They didn't fix the cutscene yet. He was a small white and blue checkered cube.
Flew into the sky, got smaller like a little speck.
It was honestly really funny, but
I'm still trying to figure out the implications of this 3 expansion thing. Like, I get it. We're getting
yeah, that was going to be one of my next questions. So when they announced that they were basically getting rid of the 2-year 1 expansion cycle, and they announced 3 expansions, what do we think that means? What time frame will this be? Is it did they just literally tell us this is what the next 6 years are? Are they going to do 3 air quotes expansions over the course of 4-ish years, 1 per year? What do we think?
I mean, I think that Dragonflight, and they even said as much, they really liked the development cycle of Dragonflight. It will be the standard. And Dragonflight, I give it a lot of guff because it is sometimes a little silly billy. But, I mean, it hasn't even been a year. And that shit, I feel like I've gone on a journey. Just because between 0.5s and 0.7s, they keep at least giving me little things to do.
So do you think them calling these 3 expansions, I'm doing air quotes, is closer to actually 3 traditional patches?
Yeah, no, that's my thing. That's kind of the vibes that I kind of got.
That, though. They said they're full-blown expansions. I think that because it's a narrative that's going through 3 different expansions, I don't think that they have to do as much, I don't want to say work. They could streamline it a bit better and produce it quicker.
Each expansion only gets 8 dungeons, only gets 2 raids. It doesn't get extra fluff time, and then we just keep moving.
And
they said that they were going to do 8 dungeons each expansion, so they're not going to cut back. And the first one they already announced the name.
I guess because that's what I was trying to figure out the content to year ratio, and then the cost as well, because they've already launched this. You can already pre-order the War Within right now, and there's 3 different settings: the heroic, epic, and base. But I was like, how are they gonna how is this gonna be fair to the consumer that you're paying money?
Yeah, because you're paying $70 per year instead of per 2 years.
It does look like they are accounting for this already. So the Epic Edition costs $90, right?
Is that the biggest or smallest?
That's the largest.
Is that the normal price?
For the Super Edition.
No, was that?
I can start with the base one.
All right, fine. I'll go backwards. The base edition. How much do you think it costs?
60.
40.
50.
50.
50.
$49.99.
So it's technically $10 cheaper than previous.
Because Papa Cheese said they don't have to do as much pure brand new assets to make it, right? They're going to have a lot of... I mean, they're going to do some. They're going to have some pre-existing stuff. Here's what you get. You get the War Within at launch. You get Dragonflight. Okay, duh. You get a level 70 character boost. So you can boost a character to 70 right now. Although it's very easy to level, so I wouldn't worry about it. But the boost comes with the base edition. Is that ever the case?
Yeah.
Was the case?
It was last time.
Yeah.
How about this one? But it's back, folks. Traders, tenders.
Yeah, tendies. We love buying them.
500 tendies for the basic edition.
That's not that much.
$50. Okay, $50 for the War Within a Dragonflight.
It never is, but people still get upset every time.
Yeah.
That's actually not bad. Okay, Heroic Edition. $70. We're adding $20 more, and we're getting 750 traders tenders.
Tendies.
You get the Algerian Stormrider mount with dynamic
what's the-
flying. We've used it. It's the lightning griffin.
Yes.
Did you-
Well, I don't know. You guys
Did
were
you not use it?
you guys were on some busted ass mounts. I was
No, I used it.
I was Algerian storm riding.
So also dragon. Actually, no. It's dynamic riding.
Well, I think that that's their way of okay. So another big theme to me, it seems like they're trying to. They said the word evergreen a lot because I think it means that like from now on, like Dragonflight onward, maybe even parts of Shadowlands, they are like everything we're doing it, and we don't want to waste it. We're gonna like continue it onward.
You'll see shades of it continuing on, even if it's in a different system.
So this one, so like obviously Dragonflight, we had Dragon Riding. They're basically continuing it onward, and they're calling it dynamic flying. And they showed some cool ass old mounts that were able to do it in their trailer. Like Ashes of Alar was able to dynamic ride.
They were also saying how this zone is completely built around the idea of it. It's so vertical, and the loading screens.
Yeah,
down.
there's no loading screens. It's how Xeralit Caverns does it, where it's like they send you through twisty turns to hide a loading screen.
It's really smart to just be like it's dynamic flying instead of having to call it dragon riding every time from now on. Like it was a great as an introductory.
Yeah.
But so you get a mount with that, right? And access to special race courses. What the fuck does that mean? You
Excuse
only
me?
get that on heroic edition and not the normal edition? That's weird. That's in-game content that you can't do if you don't have the heroic edition.
Will they become available at some point?
I don't know. That's kind of bizarre to me.
It's tough because as a consumer, I don't like being held from specific content. But if you were like, Aaron, we're not going to let you do the special races, I'd be like, okay.
But that's kind of,
I guess if there's one thing that I'm fine with them like gating from me, I guess it's yeah.
I'm going to be so for real. If anyone has done the group races in Dragonflight, raise your fucking hand.
I tried. I can't. Nobody signs up for them.
I tried
But
to.
Papa Cheese raised his hand.
He tried to, but
He tried to.
I'm getting the Epic Edition, and I'm not going to do the damn races. So.
Oh, wow. He loves to waste money.
There's
Oh, I don't
also
even know what we're getting.
there's one more thing in the heroic edition. Remember, it costs $70. You also get a Storm Riders attire transmog set. So they're also giving you outfit.
Does it show any of this?
We can buy it now, so I assume it does.
Wait, you get this now if you.
You can buy this stuff right now.
I mean,
today.
probably because we were playing.
I mean,
We were playing WoW
probably,
Yum, and we saw the Algerian Storm Rider.
You probably don't get.
Yeah,
You probably don't get that.
you normally get them out when you get
I mean, it's loaded into the game now.
But-
We
Huh.
played it.
that green mount. The other option wasn't that the Dragonflight mount.
Yeah. Well,
And we got that when we pre-ordered.
we just have the convention, so we don't have any of the actual. We haven't played obviously the actual things. We don't know. Epic Edition. Okay, so $90. So it goes, 57 20 or 90. This one
I
gives
think
you
I
all
said
that.
50, 70, 20. For $20, you get nothing. You get a handshake.
You get all that. You get beta access. You get 3 days early access.
Wait, guaranteed beta?
Guaranteed beta to the War Within. 3 days early to the War Within.
That's worth $20.
Not only that, dude, you get a month of game time.
So that's
$15 right off the bat.
This I feel like we talk about this every time they release a bundle, and we're like between the middle one and the last
It's meant
one,
to get
it's
us.
$20, and then we're like, well, with the month of game time, what else is there that's worth $5? And then we decide that's worth.
Well, here we go. Squally the Storm Hatchling Pet. Sandbox Storm Griffin Toy. Deep Dwellers Earthen Hearthstone Effect.
Oh, the heroic one sounds like ass.
The heroic one sounds really bad. Why aren't put the pet in heroic?
I feel
Put
like
the Hearthstone in
we
heroic.
always come to this conclusion: either get the cheapest one or get the most
I
expensive.
just feel like it's just they should.
The beta access is worth $5 alone.
Exactly. The heroic's never good enough.
People have to enter like silly contests or beg
It's
people
stupid.
online to get beta access. And for just some bucks, you can guaranteed get it.
Move some of those things around. Like you guys are always talking up this heroic edition. Poor heroic buyers.
I will get the epic.
Yeah, I mean,
I like beta testing the game.
and the month of game time and the beta that together, and then you get a pet toy and the Hearthstone.
Yeah.
excited. I feel like this is some weird shit. I love New Directions, and I feel like with Chris Madsen, it's like an old New Direction. You know what I mean? It's kind of a
Ooh, like an age Zane.
yeah, age Zane or like a
Well, wait.
A
listen,
nice vintage Harry.
I was gonna say, listeners that are screaming right now, you said New Directions. That's One Direction. As a directioner, I need to correct this. And then also, if we were to make a reference, I think technically we would need to make a Glee reference.
He's got it down pat. Look at this guy right here.
Damn.
Anyways, I don't want to make a Glee reference, although I might end up rewatching at some point, just because I feel like it's so spooky that they all ended up dying. But anyways,
That's romantic.
Oh, I thought you meant in the show, but no.
IRL. I feel like
Yeah.
it's the first show.
Puck killed himself. My dude shot drugs into his eyeballs.
Focus.
Anyways, okay. I'm pulling this back here because I pulled this away.
We're having a real war within right now.
Focus.
Within this podcasting group. Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay. I am pulling us back to WoW. I'm sorry.
Are we going to talk about Dusty Anduin?
Yes, that's
I'm so excited to talk about Dusty Anduin.
We're going to have to do another episode.
Thank you.
What are we at right now?
We're already at like 45.
We're fine. Our last BlizzCon episode was like an hour and a half.
Yeah, these specials are usually an hour and a half.
Anyways, okay. So
Are you playing Warcraft Rumble? What is he reading? Is there more news? Fuck!
You're not talking about. I don't know. I think it's the fact that I'm a little gremlin man, so I'm like bent in. I cannot talk more about the fact that Papa Cheese is just maxing, relaxing, feeling so cool in his chair.
I'm looking at MMO Champion.
Looking at MMO Champ, which
he's trying to do the research for us.
Yes.
which is Papa Cheese's homepage for so many years.
Cross-realm guilds coming in the war with an expansion.
Oh, it does have a
Cross-realm guilds.
All the items.
Cross-realm guilds. Just posted 17 minutes ago by Morgan Day.
Well,
I saw them. It was a man, I think.
Yeah,
I saw him.
He was doing one of the presentations.
Yeah.
Cross-realm mythic
Yeah, I
restriction.
used it.
Cross-realm mythic restriction goes away too. They're getting rid of it completely. There's going to be no more cross-realm mythic restriction.
Good, honestly.
I thought they already were getting rid of it.
Well, it's official. It was War Within.
We're getting news live, and I want to talk about Dusty.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to pull us back here. So, the last thing at the opening ceremony is that but I believe it was the last thing, they showed the cinematic. I was worried, because, okay, so honestly, I'm not going to lie, the opening ceremony polls for WoW Yum kind of made me a little nervous. Because like they told us there's a new direction, and a lot of it was Metzen just talking, and we didn't get to see things. So I was a little worried. And then I was like, are we not getting? Because we already knew we weren't getting a demo.
Yeah, and specifically, Metzen was like 20 years. 20 years has been a big chapter in our lives, and we're ready for a new start. And I was like,
are they ending WoW?
Well, because always people are like, WoW 2, I'd love to jump into it. But anytime you have incredibly long-lasting thing, and you're like, thing 2, you lose like 40 to 30% of your players just because they don't want to move to thing 2. So I was like, if you do Warcraft 2, you're like actually fucked. Like people are not. If you ask them to be like, change your sub to WoW 2, please, a lot won't.
Yeah, but then he was basically like, this new saga we're setting up for the next 20 years. I was like, okay, we're safe. and then he debuted the cinematic.
I heard all these people who were like, Metzen said it will only ever go to 10.0.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, he said, well, because he said it in 1.
Oh, wait, so this makes even more sense why he's back, and B, why they're doing this, because they have no plan.
This brings up another question I was having. So, because they introduced this as a saga instead, do you think that they'll do, like, away with the whole, like, point, like, number point being expansion?
So this is in WoW 2, parentheses. These next 3 expansions are 3 chapters in part 1.
So would they all be like 11 point something?
I think by this point it could be anything, because I think what happens was they had a playbook. It ended at 10, so this story should have ended by now. And they're like, wait, we can keep it going, but we don't know what we're gonna do. I can see us going from like this, going back to having 1 expansion, whereas like the old ones, going back to a saga. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they can mix and match. The road is whatever they fucking want it to be right now.
I think this allows them to have expansions without there having to be like a separate, unrelated to the previous expansion, like supreme bad guy
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
exactly.
exists. And then the next expansion is another supreme bad
Yeah,
guy
the new bad
that
guy.
Yeah.
has no real relation to the previous one. Narratively, they can now have like what's her name, Zelena.
Zalatath.
Like she's a somewhat newer character, 2016, 2017, but like they built her up, and she doesn't have to be like a Deathwing.
They
Yeah.
didn't even talk about the secret bad guy. My man Iridicron
Yeah.
did shit in a bonus dungeon, disappeared, and then we didn't hear any more about
So
him.
yeah, Iridicron
He's actually
helped.
just gone.
We don't
Iridicron.
know we don't know he's gone.
Okay, so here's the thing: Iridicron basically secured this shadowy artifact for Zalatath.
Yeah,
And then-
we see art of her holding it.
So I have a few theories about this too. I'm like, this either means that Iridicron will be a bad into this next saga, or unfortunately we dispatch him at some point in the epilogue.
Yeah, I think we do.
I refuse to
Give
believe.
me the one
There might be
dragon raid. I want a one dragon raid with the Ridicron. I
there
think
might
it'd
be
be so
another
cool.
raid. I think that
There
there's.
has to be.
We talked about this earlier that if they do fall of 2024,
Yeah, so that's another
it's
point of contention. They announced that The War Within is coming out in fall of 2024.
and they won't release an expansion right before BlizzCon. They won't.
Yeah.
They might release it right after. So at best, it's going to be September, right?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
If they don't hit September, I don't think they're going to do an October 20th.
So you think it's more likely that this The War Within would launch like end of November 2024?
That's probably the most likely, unless they do September, which either way, that's still going to be
It's so
almost 10 months of Guardians of the Dream.
It's so weird, but because of this new thing, they almost could do that. Like, The War Within will be coming November 13th, but now that we're at November 7th, let's get you information about midnight.
I mean, yeah.
Because we know midnight's a thing, so as long as they keep it vague enough, they could give us midnight information and then be like, it'll be great after you do.
Nah, they would
War
give us
Within.
later War Within info.
I don't remember. Okay, so I don't fully remember, but they did give a brief, very brief, like
Very
something
small.
you would see like on Cliff Notes, description of these other expansions. So War Within, we got like in the deep dive, like full information, basically of the zone and kind of the story in the raid and whatnot. But then in Midnight and The Last Titan, they gave us a very brief descriptor. Do you guys remember what they said?
Well, midnight is Quel'Thalas. We're fixing it. We're doing something.
because the sun was being attacked by the void.
Yes,
So
the sun was being attacked by the
It sounded to me like Midnight is going to be an expansion where maybe Zalatath herself will be the big bad, and she is targeting the Sunwell with her voidy magic.
And then Last Titan, we're going to Northrend. We're going to Uldaman. Something is happening in Ulduar. I'm sorry. Something is happening in Ulduar that is strange, that is directly affecting the Last Titan.
Well, and they're implying that, and they've hinted this over the years with the what are the books called?
The Chronicles.
Oh, the Chronicle?
That basically the whole Titan narrative that we've learned to question over the years is probably bullshit.
Because it's from their own
They
perspective.
basically just straight out said it's the greatest conspiracy of the cosmos.
And like I love that because people are always like they're just retconning it, and it's like no, they said that it's from a perspective that's not like wholly truthful.
For 20 years of World of Warcraft, if you truly expect that the established lore from 2003 when they were writing up the game was going to stay consistent for 20 years,
Yeah,
no.
especially with
It's
in and
fine.
out.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
That's what I don't get.
And
it's fine.
I love it because it's such like a trick. Like I don't know. It's just like people are like, I don't know, why are they changing things? It's like when the literal gods of your universe tell Growlina the lowly worgen a thing, she believes it. Who is she to like argue with God? And then now that she's gone to the world of death, she's like, maybe I need to think about things. And then that's going to be the next 10 years. And she's like, I'm thinking about what I know now.
And it's on brand for them to be manipulative and to basically lie and take advantage of the lesser being. So it's like on brand for it. It's
And
not a big deal.
Even, and we'll talk about it at a different time, but in the book, the latest book, War of the Scaleborn, the only thing we know about Tyr is he shows up in a scene to go, hey, gaslight girl boss all of these eggs. Like, it's going to be great. Like, even the newer fictions are only portraying the Titans as, like, scary and manipulative.
Yeah, so I do think that third expansion that they announced will basically be the Azerithians coming to terms with the Titans pulling the wool over their eyes. That's what it sounded like.
We're going to kill one.
because also we're going to be hanging out with the Earth. The Earth and
Yeah.
about. Also, do we ever talk about Anduin?
No, we're going back.
We're so
Trust me, it's been a 45-minute silly Billy adventure through the sand to get to Dusty Anduin.
We're
He's
going.
like, who's in the sand?
I will not let us not talk about this man.
okay. Yes.
Okay, so but like, did we fully wrap up like the cliff notes of what all those?
I actually did want to go back a little bit to Sunwell. Or sorry, to
Midnight.
Poor Dusty Anduin is just sitting there sad, waiting.
Anyway, okay. The power of the Sunwell. Where does it come from? Papa Cheese. Where does the Sunwell like? What is the?
It's light.
Isn't it the Nehru?
Yeah, it sacrificed its what?
So
Little essence to cleanse it from the demons.
because the symbol for midnight was obviously very much a loon coated. There's a moon. It had
It
an
was
eclipse
purple.
behind it. And I saw that there was a lot of loon talk about what's going to happen. There's some data mine stuff from like a loon moons and different moons from a loon.
More like a moon.
So that is okay. So they did said they said about this saga that it was pulling from a bunch of different storylines that they've been leading into over the last 10 expansions that they can tie up in this saga of 3. So yes, Slide, I think you're right because they've been hinting at a loon in particular over the last 2 or 3
I was
expansions.
thinking of the book with the little poetry about Anchi and the other one where they're saying that
child book one.
it's possible that like
The
the
tales.
gods that everyone worships are just the same ones, and that a loon might be the same one that the Tauren worship, the same one that the Night Elf worship. Maybe it's the same. Maybe it's even a Naru. Maybe a loon is a Naru, or she is like an alien, and they're all
Yeah.
in fucking space. I just want to bring that up because if it happens, I said it.
Slide says, "I have no further."
Listen, the
further.
sword talk went kind of good for me. Maybe this one will go kind of good for me too. I don't know. I got to kind of.
He said, "I'm batting 100% right now."
and swing with the fences, baby.
Just like us batting 100 in Overwatch demos at BlizzCon.
Yeah, we're still undefeated Overwatch demos.
I lost 10 years of my life playing keyboard Torbjorn, but I kept the streak going.
I was bringing out over there. Anyway,
okay, so back to WoW. Okay, so now is finally the time. Let's talk about
I know.
Dusty ass and
so many of you have tuned into Dusty Anduin talk.
end the episode here. Do a 2-part.
Good night, everyone.
Just kidding, we're back. Okay, so they ended the opening ceremony with this WoW cinematic, and I feel like we always just gotta say these WoW cinematics are next
These
tier.
are scary.
Too
They're
good.
getting scary.
Too good.
Scary good. That was a real human on my screen.
Yeah, no. Okay, so first off,
Also, you make jokes. I literally thought it was a live action actor.
I thought it was Max Stewart. Yeah.
Until spoilers, they showed Thrall's goofy face, and I was like, okay, this is a computer.
Well, they did a good job making Anduin not look like Anduin, but also looking like Anduin. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
that's
actually
the
a really
thing.
good way of putting it.
yeah, so like it starts with Anduin in the desert.
Well, a blonde man with short hair and a beard.
Good clarification because
Justin Timberlake.
it doesn't look fully like what we last saw Anduin as, which I think is what we're supposed to interpret because like he was maybe in the mall collecting souls, losing his mind after being dominated for who knows how long. They said at one point that this Anduin they almost made it sound like there was going to be another time skip, honestly, because they said
Well, they said he's been doing it for
I
years.
think this is a cinematic for the last expansion, for the third one, for the last Titan. I think it's a future shot into what's going to be happening.
What was the last time skip? How many?
Shadowlands into Dragonflight.
No, I know, but how long?
3.
It was 3 years.
So okay, So the only reason I think that the cinematic is for the War Within is because they said that the War Within involves us going into Azeroth. And the whole crux of the cinematic is that Thrall and Anduin and others.
Valyria.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have been getting.
They can hear Azeroth getting upset.
They can hear a call of something.
Apparently, the player character can too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's implied that a lot of people have been hearing.
I love Growlina, but if she heard the call of Azeroth, that bitch would fold like an omelet.
She's like, find a pharmacist, like, give me something, please.
So, it's I will say heavily implied because like it wasn't outright said because at one point Anduin is like, Thrall, who's trying to talk to us? And Thrall's like, I don't know. So we're led to believe that Azeroth has been speaking to everyone or a bunch of people because the player characters, as Papa Chi said, we're getting these visions as well.
There are a few of us who have been hearing the call of Azeroth, and then like 11,000 other guys.
I just imagine like they're having serious conversations about hearing the whispers of the world soul, and then you have the player character in his fucking Murloc onesie standing there like, yeah, whispers of the world.
You think Magni's pissed? Like, yes, I've been fucking saying this for fucking years, guys.
That's a side thing, by the way. For anyone who watched the BlizzCon coverage, it's like a lot of characters will be important to 11.0, like Anduin, and it was dusty, crusty Anduin, and Thrall, who's learning to handle the elements, and Magni. And they just showed like a screenshot of Magni from Legion.
Posing, not in like a pose.
It wasn't even like a render. It was literally they walked up to his model and took a picture.
They quickly went to the WoW head 3D thing to like, give me a download this shit.
Yeah. So we have said that Anduin's dusty. He looks very different. He looks aged. He looks like he's been through some shit. During the cinematic as well, he has said that he did he outright say that he can't feel the light anymore?
Yeah, he said there is. Well, he said, "quote There is no light within me," and so that either means like I'm dark and I'm broody. I don't know what's going on, or literally like his best friend Thrall.
Yes,
he can no longer do his magic.
I think it's that one. So this whole thing is just to get us a full story circle on Thrall's character, where Thrall will mentor somebody who had what happened.
He's like, I too lost my magic at one point,
yeah,
and now I'm magic again.
Anduin is all mental. I'm convinced it's all just like I killed a guy. I'm doing bad things. I can't do the light anymore.
I feel bad because he did try and doom all of living life.
He did,
but it's like, what did Anduin really do? I mean,
he was chained up for forever.
He attacked the tree. He killed a bunch of fairies.
Oh, like bad things he did.
We bopped him on the head during the dungeon.
His two dads said, "Rip the sword apart."
Exactly.
Well, he's such a good boy that he feels bad.
Also, that's showing how fucked up he is he's using Charlemagne like alpha.
Yeah.
He's using not Charlemagne together. He's using one half of it.
No, did you notice that there's no light when he held the sword out?
Yeah, no, yeah, so in the cutscene he's like, Thrall, you don't understand. Light to me, and he holds it at him, and it's just the little gem in the middle that usually lights up with superhuman energy is dull. He's a broken man.
Anduin is everybody. He's depressed. He needs to have something to cheer him up, and Chris Metzen is going to get him through this mess.
My student loans!
Yes.
They're only building...
Honestly, they're building them to be just like us.
I've never related more to a character because we've watched Anduin grow up as a priest main,
I can
He's
tell
my
you.
boy.
I can tell you. I felt really good about myself and been well clean. And there's nothing that relates to me more than being dusty, having a beard, and being unkempt, losing your hair,
Sitting in dirt,
sitting in the dirt,
sand.
having a green man come up to me and be like, "You should really. It's been a couple of years. You should really, I don't know, go to trade school, see if you can fix yourself."
Oh,
But I think did we basically cover everything that was from that cinematic?
But also because it's a beautiful cinematic, but there's not a lot that happens in it.
Yeah.
Other than the fact,
The big reveal was that they showed that they were at the sword.
Yeah,
They were
that's-
they're in syllabus.
the big thing is at the end, anyone's like, "I'll hang out with you, Thrall," and then it's like, well, "Good, because we gotta figure what that's about." And then they point at the sword. It's like because da 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 da, that was being aimed at someone.
And then I believe at the end of the cinematic, it fades to like it shows like World of Warcraft, War Within, and then in the middle of it, it shows like the globe like of Azeroth, and then it shows like
Cracks in it.
cracks in it,
Fissures.
like fissures in it,
Dying.
like fiery fissures in
They
it.
also use the word fissure, didn't they?
Yes,
So I don't know what that means necessarily.
They're basically just ramping up BFA sword stabbing.
the physical
it's
world is breaking, and we are going to be getting somehow at the lady that's been sitting in the middle of it.
I think we're going to have another world change because we've already established that they are going to be using old assets. It's easier for them to do so. I think they're going to do another cataclysm and
during War Within.
I think we're going to get a third phase of a world change, either with World Within or at the end of World Within, going into Moonlight, Midnight.
It's a real shame that the guy that did all of the intros unfortunately passed away, because I would love to hear his interpretation of like the humans of Stormwind. Oh my god, the world is breaking apart. The park flew into space a month ago. That shit's scary.
When did he die?
He did die.
When?
2 months ago.
Wait, is that real?
Recent.
No, it's not real.
No, that's real.
2 months ago?
It was recent.
2 months ago.
Was it 2 months?
Maybe it was a little longer than that, but it was with
3 months?
it was a while, like within the last.
I like how you're fighting me.
No, it's not even a fight. It's like I didn't know.
No, I mean it was within like a couple months ago. I remember it being a big thing in the Warcraft community.
Who's gonna record?
I'm kind of worried that they're gonna do
too far.
What's too far?
I don't know. I was wondering. I was guessing your next words.
No, what was that Marvel
Snap
the Eternals?
Oh,
I was thinking.
Okay. So here's the thing. Whenever they show that picture of like all the Titans in the like constellations and the stars,
yeah,
like,
they're all looking like that.
And I always think Marvel Eternals.
Well, I was worried. Honestly, looking at the story beats, because they kind of give you the beats for the 3 expansions.
Beat sheets.
And it's like, the last one's like, the biggest conspiracy ever. I'm like, is Azeroth going to like crack out of the planet?
Beat sheets, by the
And
way.
that they were just using us to, like, literally the Eternals plot.
But have
you guys seen that?
Well, hold on, Everett.
I think
we all have
we're
to
being
join around.
misled.
Wait, hold on, everyone. Hold on, everyone.
We also now need to goof on Papa Cheese for watching Eternals.
Yeah, one and only time.
I think we're being misled.
That's why I'm worried.
I think they keep bringing this up too much, that they're doing that, like, we're gonna trick you at the end. They're like, oh, the Titans are bad. Maybe they're not. It's gonna be like, they were morally good.
Shades of Grey.
Yeah, they just said some bad things to trick you.
I don't know.
But what's coming, because
Slide's always been he's always been in Pantheon's pocket.
My father works with them.
When we heard about the order magic going into the eggs, which they very much, even in the new book, has been like, yeah, that's really fucked up. Slide so famously said, "This feels like a Fox News tactic."
It does. But
you're pro egg
no
twisting.
No, I'm anti egg twisting.
Twist the egg.
But
grab the egg and twist it.
But if the Titans don't think of anything below them as anything more than a pawn. They're basically a supervisor at work, right? They're just like, yeah, these are means to an end.
But they never show up.
These are
for work.
tools to use so we can achieve what we need to that the lower minions don't see. You know what I mean?
My
Job's
boss at
done.
work doesn't think about me like that.
That's what all my training books say to think about people as. That's what books write it as. So what do you think Titans think it as?
Are you saying the Titans wrote your employee
I
manual?
think they did. They were saying, put my order magic in eggs. And I was like, okay.
Well, I guess not Titan. I was about to say, I guess that's Titan Keepers, but I was like, the Titan spawn die and get corrupted far too fucking much to play with me. Raden thought he was cool. I beat your ass twice.
Do not forget the words of Zoval, the jailer. Something is coming. Something bigger is coming.
It's Thrall.
The Titans know what's coming, and they're like, we have to stop it from coming.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
You are defying the Titans, winner.
Order magic.
Okay. So, I guess we can double back now into like we got more information
I'm just
about.
really glad we got to Dusty and win because
I didn't.
that really was a half-hour fight.
I mean, I like every tangent we went on,
Of course.
Oh yeah.
but we did get more information about the war within
Oh, at the little panel.
at the second panel.
I'm just going to say this. I absolutely love the second woman, the older woman who showed up and she told us about story. But God forbid did she tell us about story. My eyes glazed over, and even she was telling so much about story that the animations weren't keeping up with her. She was like, the spider village of a new Barak.
This is why I don't get a media pass.
No, she was probably my favorite presenter if I'm being completely honest.
She was being whole hog. She was just
We were
doing.
getting it.
She was doing.
His eyes did close though because he doesn't let the lore. So his eyes did. I watched him go.
Yeah, he was like, I don't give a single shit.
Anyways, something I want to talk about that I thought was really interesting was that I think Aaron already touched on this a little bit. Is that like basically they imply that this entire expansion is vertical?
There was a lot of verticality talk, and I was like, "Are we going fucking back to?"
A lot of horde minds infecting the way that we make things.
You like verticality?
Their
don't you,
love of
Mark?
verticality.
I'm not following. What
Okay. So see what I mean? He doesn't even know verticality.
It's the long-standing goof is that Orgrimmar with its elevators and Thunder Bluff with its huge elevators
High Mountain
and High Mountain and Undercity has multiple levels. You guys build up instead of out, and we'll never get it.
We hate your verticality.
But the Dragon Isles are all vertical. I think that what they're talking about is that
No.
it flows well with the
We
flying.
hate it.
No, we hate it.
No verticality.
And we hate the horde.
But there looks like there's no influence of the horde at all in any of these zones.
Because these seem
It is kind of weird.
Okay,
Except
so
the Earthen could be horde.
Which is also kind of weird.
That's fucked up.
wild.
I hate that.
That's wild. So we're getting horde dwarves basically.
Horde dwarf.
Horde dwarf. The door.
First, they let the lady dwarves have beards.
I love that.
Then they let them join the horde. We're not giving them the proper guidance they need.
I
These
love
Earthen
them.
have crystals coming out of their nipples.
They're
too.
so cool. I might have to make my
Pasties.
paladin into
Especially so. Hey everyone, Earthen are big. Allegedly, they're like bigger dwarves.
Yeah.
taller.
Yeah, they're like
They're like taller.
Yeah, so that's what they showed. They showed some other models for like reference size, and it unless I read it wrong, it made it seem like to double back a little bit. We're getting an allied race again for the first time in a while, and it is the Earthen dwarves,
Which are stone dwarf. They use the dwarf model, like in animations, I assume.
Yeah.
but they're stone.
But they're made of stone. They have ruby accoutrement, ruby accessories, and maybe they're bigger. I say maybe because people keep citing the chart that she pulled up with sizes.
But she specifically said that she was including these other models for scale.
But also, they did it with Nerubians.
Oh.
Enhanced Nerubians. And I think people might be thinking of the enhanced Nerubians chart.
Either way, I am always cool with more dwarves being added, even if they are the same size as normal dwarves. But I think it would be cool if these earthen were human size.
Yes, no, I would appreciate that. Also, dwarves are so cool, and I wish I had literally any.
You don't have a single dwarf.
I think I have one dwarf who's a throwaway character. Shout out to my man Grumbins and Grumbins and Grumbins.
Yeah, the thing is, I like dwarfs a lot, and I'm in the same boat. I don't think I have a single dwarf character.
Also, yeah, so sorry everyone, because it's the BlizzCon special. We have to make note of it. Slide Whistle just entered the bed for the last 20 seconds, gracefully and slowly, as to not make noise, and then we negated it by mentioning that he entered the bed.
Yeah, my swiftness has been ruined. So the dwarves. What are we getting in exchange for this? Because why the fuck should Horde get to play as dwarves? What are we getting? Are we getting Tiny Torrent?
We have to get one of their shitty, ugly races.
Well, they're not like tied to.
Well, I don't care. You're getting one of our good models, and I've seen Horde people say one of the reasons why
Blood Elf is a good model. You got that with the Void Elf.
we already had that.
But you didn't have it.
I don't know. It's not different enough.
My question is, like, why couldn't we have just given them, like, the Mechanomes?
Yes. Yes.
We don't want them either.
Also, Mechanomes are earthen, aren't they?
Oh, wait, so Slide Whistle and I turned to each other during this panel, and basically, so I don't remember exactly what part of it was, but they implied that the earthen had some Mechanome tendencies, and by that I mean that they were like fully down to like.
Well, yeah, because there's a whole faction of earthen that are obsessed with the machines that they were tasked to use, and
So they're like, we're gonna
they become
augment ourselves.
Yeah, they become machine heads, and they're part metal, part earth, and it's like, huh, okay,
Mecha dwarfs.
yeah, mecha dwarfs.
Okay, so I.
That was
so
the machine head's backstory.
We just came back from the con. We don't have anything pulled up, so we're just gonna like from memory. What were all of the like layers that we saw here?
There was okay, so the whole thing is the earthen were sent to this island to defend the path to
Which this lines up with the leak we saw, this part at least.
Yeah,
It has a door. It says
But like the
the
concept of them being sent to explore this area because of a fisher.
because that's based on just lore that we have. Like you can legally go to Uldaman and read this book.
Do you think they changed the name because of the leak?
Honestly, I think it's changed, right? It was Kaz Eldor. Always.
Or did they go from Eldor to Elgar?
I think Eldor was the fake leak. Well, I think Elgar was always in the book, wasn't it?
Elgar,
I don't know.
Elgar was the one they hinted at.
Anyways, Kaz Elgar, it's real. And the people the earthen who were sent there to actually defend it have become the Oathsworn, which they just kept really emphasizing are trendy and cool and modern because they built cool shops and cities next to
They're like these ones that like support what the Titans tried to tell them to do. Live in the cool cities. They have dress classes.
They're rich. They're influencers. Their daddy paid for their college. However, those dirty, stinky ones are the not Forsaken, but it was like
Unbound. Yeah,
the Unbound, which are the cool. Like they live in the rural community.
The real dwarves.
They tend to vote red Dragonflight. Wink.
and then there was the machine head.
And then I love
the bikers.
It felt like it was very clearly set up for a 2-tier society. It's like people who live in the city and the people who live in the outskirts. And then there's the fucking machine heads they're so fucked up. They love machines.
Now, like, all the clarification was that, like, the city dwellers, the orderly ones, follow the Titans' orders. The rural ones, they were like, no, the Titans don't got it right. And then they're like, the machine heads, they're like, we like the Titan technology, but we don't necessarily like everything they got to say. But like, we want that Titan tech to augment our.
Yeah, Amenthul gave me a really bitchin' blender, and I'm gonna love that he gave me that. I don't know who Amenthul is, but I know he's the guy who gave me the blender.
So those are the three main like earthen dwarf like factions that I think we're gonna come into contact with. They implied that
They're
Were there, like-
reputations?
Yes.
Separate reputations.
How many layers were there of this area? 4?
4.
Isle of Dorn is the top layer.
So Isle of Dorn is one. Okay, so we jokingly referenced the fact that like past expansions we're like, oh, we're just gonna sail to a place that somehow we've never discovered before, and
But Isle of Dorn is this dude is 3 miles away from Pandaria. The pandas have been like, we never looked.
I guess really what I meant was what Papa Cheese was saying about the bosses that we're constantly fighting. Because we're probably still going to keep getting new islands, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have to.
well, anyways,
Well,
so like the Isle of Dorn somehow was never discovered, even though, as Aaron said, it's like on the map which they showed is right next
It's
to
like the
Pandaria.
pirates. It's like we're getting pirates, but not really.
And it seemed to me like the Isle of Dorn itself on the top ground looked very like forested, and it looked kind of like dwarven architecture, vertical, airy peak-esque.
They're very Airy Peak-esque. That's a good way of putting it. Updated Airy Peak-esque.
It looked cool
obviously.
though.
Yeah. It was giving me BFA Zone vibes.
It was very old, classic dwarven fantasy.
Yeah.
Like typical.
Big
hurts.
red or ruby hammers on like doorways for no reason.
I just hope the city's big, like Suramar. I was telling
Well, because they did say that that city will be
the capital.
the city. Yeah, it'll be the capital city.
Which I was thinking, like, they talked about the Zaralek Caverns tech about flying,
Uh-huh.
and it's linear. So if you have to get to the Nerubian zone, which we haven't talked about,
Oh yeah, the Nerubians.
but
That's
you
level
got to fly
4,
through the
Hitler.
other two to get to the Nerubian place. Is there like a
Well,
I have to
Aaron
admit-
probably will have a portal or something. I don't know.
well, Aaron, yeah,
I was about to say they mole machine, but these guys are too primitive for mole machines.
oh, do they have like dirt machines?
Yeah, well, do they have like worms?
Well, we'll at least talk to the machine heads. They probably have something.
Yeah, the machine head gotta have. Come on, they gotta have.
Trust me, if there's a machine, the fucking machine heads have it.
There's hot Nerubians now.
Okay, wait.
Hey, that's on level 4.
We'll get there.
Sorry.
Tuck your dick in for level
I
4.
level 2.
Okay, so yeah, so Isle of Dorn, main level, surface level. So did they basically say that the capital city was going to be on the surface level?
Yes,
Yes.
they said I forgot the specific name, but the city that the Oathborn live in the Isle of Dorn is the capital city.
Okay.
They listen to capital cities there.
Okay. So
They said we follow the Titan's orders, so we're safe and sound.
and for the last 20 years, the Isle of Dorn has been safe and sound. So okay. So then we will go down some kind of hole in the ground to go to the next level. I forget its name.
Ringing Deeps.
The Ringing Deeps, which
Is this the one that had the giant crystal in the sky?
no, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's,
This is the one I don't respect because the Unbound, I believe, live here, and I believe they have lost their property to kobolds.
yeah.
Granted, they're big, swole, beefy daddy kobolds, but
Honestly,
losing your shit to kobolds is kind of silly.
can I say something without some judgment?
Okay, let's see. Here, everybody. Okay, how about this? Let him say it. We're gonna wait 5 seconds before we respond.
Okay, so okay. First off, I'm glad that the kobolds are back, and I'm glad that it's a reference to them having candles on their
I
heads
feel like
still.
you're buying time for what's
Yeah,
gonna
I
happen.
am.
Just say it.
I
Just
am.
say it. Rip it.
Okay, so the one that I assume is their leader, the big swole one,
King Candle.
King Candle, was kind of hot looking.
Oh no. Oh, I didn't wait 5 seconds.
I'm not gonna judge you, but
He's hot.
No, I'm not gonna judge you. But what I will say is, not only is King Candle pretty smoking, they have created an entire subtype of kobolds who have been fucking lifting weights since Classic.
That was going to be my upcoming question.
All of a sudden, they got real good.
Or I was going to ask, are these new models?
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they made big, beefy kobolds. Which
Okay,
is
so
crazy.
Papa Cheese, what was the name of this level again?
Ringing
So-
depths.
Ringing Deeps.
So the Ringing Deeps is the level below the surface level, and this is where the outer people are, and this is where they lost to their
This is the
foundry. They lost their foundry to
Yeah.
kobolds.
Yeah, and you can see like the outside. There's like they compared it to like cenotes, where you can see the sky still in some parts of it. So it's like half above ground, half below ground.
They still get natural light,
Yeah,
which will not be found in further.
and
levels.
there's I guess, art that's been posted on Wowhead, and there's like one of the bosses in the dungeons is a giant molten candle elemental.
Okay, so we got some funness. We were gonna hate that.
There is a kobold.
Yeah, anything
Right.
silly and fun.
Come on, guys.
They do. There's been a lot of hate for Dragonflight just for it being like campy.
But like, if you want an old world experience, don't you want non-serious fucking storylines and fight sometimes?
I mean, I'm all for it. The dragons would be campy.
Yes.
Anyways, since I obviously forgot about this whole tier, I'm ready to move on to the next one. So wait, so I thought Hollowfall, was there not one that was not Hollowfall? Is Hollowfall the one with the giant crystal in the ceiling?
Yes,
Yeah.
Hollow Falls. The whole thing is that this place is so fucking sick and twisted. It's like Newgrounds 2005 because they have a crystal in the sky that gives them all their light, but because of the bad thing that happens every time we show up at an expansion, it keeps going out, and when it goes out, the world does not get its enrichment, and so stuff has started to get nasty and twisted.
So that's
So sorry to interrupt you, but is Hollowfall the one that has DNR coded buildings? And by that I mean like Crusade themed.
yes.
Yes, because
The Arathi.
we haven't even talked about it. The Arathi, they have moved from their basin to go underground, and they're just like they're like human adjacent guys, and they've been fighting the guys who live on level 4, the Nerubians, to a standstill. And our friend said maybe sometimes they don't agree, and there's division in their ranks.
And she very clearly said that the Arathi that we see in this what is this, sub-level 3?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
Are mysterious. But not spooky mysterious, just normal
That was
mysterious.
weirdly cagey. What was she trying to get at there?
Honestly, I took it as that they're bad.
They're fucking
They're
evil.
evil?
Yeah, they're just evil. But she didn't want to be like, you see the evil guys on 3, and then they get eviler on 4.
So when I first saw that sun in the sky, I was like, "Is that where the sword stabbed down the crystal?"
So that's.
But then it's not, right? Or is it?
I feel like it can't be because
But it looks like a sword tip.
it looks like a tip of a sword peeking into there.
But it's not.
But no, because we're in Kaz Elgar,
Yeah.
which is like south of
Because
that.
like you would have seen it in other levels, right?
I think we'll
Yeah.
find out why that's there, though. I found that interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I like
why
it.
is it sticking out in this cast?
And then like when it turned dark. Okay, so
Yes.
like okay, so I will say that like when they first introduced it, everything was light and happy. They're like it's religious even, as if that's good. I don't know. So I guess like I don't know, whatever. And it's like bright and lit up, and then they're like, ooh, but spooky things happen, and then it looked like Shadow Flame or something was like taking over this
It's
crystal.
like voidy purple, like purple.
Yeah. And is this the last level before we go into the
Yes.
Nerubian?
Well,
That was really it. I mean, for that level, right? I mean, we're missing.
Well,
Well,
because
the whole thing is the Arathi that we don't know anything about.
So okay, so what does the name Arathi mean?
It's
yeah, I've literally only know them for their
Because
basin.
the Arathi Basin.
the Arathi Highlands. I
Arathi
think they're
Highlands.
descendants of the humans that are in.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
she even said
They went
like,
down underground.
the crunchy proto humans, like the first
Vrykul?
generation of humans after like the Earthen Vrykul
the
guys,
Vrykul, yeah.
where they were just big, beefy
yeah,
Caucasian
they just
men.
went down into
They're
the
the-
hole.
They're the first humans that are like the humans that the players play today. I think are descend.
I mean, like,
from
Yes.
humans.
I'm sure they'll address this, but how the fuck did they get down there?
So okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
correct-
how'd they find it?
Correct
Well,
me if I'm wrong. So far, what we know of the human race in WoW is the Arathi seem to be like up near the top, and then it splits into like the Vrykul, which are big. The like,
Vrykul are proto-humans
Vrykul
well, like, they
come
still
before
exist,
Arathi.
but they. Oh, okay. So the Vrykuls then.
because
Because
they used to be Earth. They used to be like Titan Force.
The Vrykul are the first generation after they were made of rock.
Yeah,
Okay. I see. So then the Arathi descend from that, but then the Arathi divide into all the ones that stayed above ground, which divide into all the kingdoms, and then apparently this one that just went straight underground.
they're like, we're going back to where we came from.
But and that's the thing is because this land is entirely new, they very easily could say it existed in calendar like primary calendar.
calendar.
So they could say some big beefy Caucasian dudes walked down there, and then when it split off, they're like, "We're stuck. We can't go any further."
Also, I want to make it known that we never got any faces of any of these rats.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm just basing it on classic.
What if they're not even humans?
They might not be.
What if they're like Cthulhu, like the tentacle people? What are they called?
They probably just don't have the hairstyles done yet.
You're honestly probably
Ian said,
You're right.
"I don't want anyone to worry. We just didn't get the head models
You're right.
ready
But
yet."
the gear looked good.
The gear look
It's
really
very cool for like a paladin.
It almost
Or a
didn't
priest,
like,
yeah.
wow, Aaron, you need a drink?
No, I just have to pee.
Oh, okay, hang on. Wait. Is that where you're going? So this is the son of Aaron.
I guess Papa Cheese is a very movable
Yeah,
barrier.
he's got wheels. All right. I didn't flush because I didn't know how it would affect recording.
I don't think you pooped.
No,
Did you at least make yellow?
I was gone for like 15 seconds. I wish I could do that.
Okay. So after we leave the zone, Hollowfell, is that what you said it was called?
Hollowfall.
Hollowfall. Then we descend further down
It's
into...
crazy. They give us so much fucking information.
It was really fast too. And I was trying to mentally take notes. So like, obviously, listeners, we probably missed something. We haven't like read up on anything. We're recording this basically right when we got back.
Yeah.
Ashkahet is the next one.
Ashkahet.
Yeah.
Oshkosh.
Which honestly, now that I think about it, they didn't confirm this. They may say this tomorrow. Silithus might be like the waking shore of this expansion.
I can see that.
Like,
because if we had to start there.
And I think one of the things we'll find out tomorrow is if they're going to be, revisiting the old zones. I feel like they are.
Yeah.
I think they're opening it up for us to bounce around with the story.
So,
but Ashkahet is the Nerubians. They evolved. Some Nerubians have 2 legs now, and they're like evolved higher. It's a class society. They talk about that.
What's the time frame of this evolution? Like,
no, she has.
Hey everyone!
Like, how fast could you evolve?
I'm coming back to you from the bathroom. End of Buffa, because it is specifically piloted by Xalatath, so she's only had since patch like 8.2 to do this.
But it could just be magic. She could instantly turn into that big thing.
Bugs evolve fast too.
Yeah, but these are not undead Nerubians. These are the
because there's two.
We need
they're
to
not
clarify.
sided with like the death cosmos.
Because back in the day, the king of the Nerubians, his name, the big beetle man, what's his name? Anubarak. He was a good guy. He led them, and he was like, we are good people. And then he got corrupted by the Lich King when he died, and then he turned him. So this is the alive people.
Even one of the dungeons in Wrath of the Lich King, there's 2 Nerubian dungeons. One of them is the living side, one's the dead side. And the living side worship the void and the old gods. Like all the bug creatures, like the mantid. And so these are just some that are like, oh, cool, you're giving us a gift of evolution.
The
bugs love the void, dude.
So this lowest zone, basically the story seems to be that Xalatath went down there, found these bug people, made a deal with their queen, and Naifu is giving them a grip it and rip it selection where these bugs can get like some void magic to enhance themselves.
2 legs.
Yeah, they become bipedal. They still have 4 arms and it looks scary as fuck, but also kind of hot.
A lot of people have been citing them as an allied race.
They never said that,
and they didn't say that, but I'm saying. Cool Master 48 on Twitter.com said they're coming.
It won't happen. Transmog will not work.
I don't think so, but when I first saw...
You say that, but dragons are a thing, and Transmog doesn't work.
Can become a regular person.
That's fair.
I don't think the spider people can.
But like when I first saw them, I thought... I think I maybe even turned to Aaron and I said, like, these look like Draenei models. And I don't know.
I didn't love the model. I liked a lot of the other models, but these are the only ones that I was like,
Was it the eyes?
I just didn't feel like they were scary. I
Was
wanted
it
them
the
to be
legs?
scary.
You want to like look uglier? 'Cause,
Like,
I mean,
I
like,
love how the Nerubians,
yeah, the
like
Nerubians are
the
hideous.
caster ones with the 4 legs, and
and they had those like
And I
bristles.
I
those
do appreciate
bristles.
they had like more information. They had videos in the more information section, and I do appreciate that we got fucking spell flingers. They're going.
Oh my god, I hate spell
They're
fingers.
wiggling their fingers like you better interrupt me or else I'll ruin your whole dungeon. So I do appreciate that not every Nerubian got hot.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? I'll stay ugly. It's okay.
well, it's like a they versus them thing where they're like the higher class of society
Yeah,
now.
yeah, they're like we're the better ones.
So the ones that have more legs are like the poor people.
no,
So
They have them live. They even say
Yeah.
they live lower, like in the city.
you're a freak. You're down there.
and then that is the lowest zone we go to in what they've announced to us so far in the War Within expansion. And then they also announced the first raid, which is basically the palace of the
It-
Queen Nerubian
yeah, it's
who
like-
made a deal with Knife.
It's like it's literally called like Ankh-Khajet Palace.
And I think each zone has 2 dungeons. There's no dungeon like off somewhere else.
And they said that again, they're having 4 of the 8 dungeons being like during leveling. So probably 1 during each on the way down, and then four more being like end cap dungeons.
Shout out to my boy Old City. I'm looking I'm looking forward to Old City.
Yeah. So the names always make me laugh because like we have no concept of like why they're named that.
It's so good.
I'm pretty sure one of them is like Flaming Metery, and it's like I'm really excited for that guy.
But yeah, I'm excited. They gave us like a top down and a side profile view of this raid, and
It was kind of weird. You know what? There's the points where I was like, this isn't gonna change. Like, I'm not even gonna bother like committing to memory.
Well, especially because so much of it was pretty early. Like he's
Yeah.
like, you go to the stalactite chamber, which is not its final name. It's
right.
like, if I get you're wanting to give us like content to chew on, but like if you're giving me an incredibly early design document that's going to change, who cares?
I don't think like I'm not gonna be wooed by any name you tell me.
I don't think there's anyone who was like design docs when it's like you go down and then you will go up and then you will go forward. It's like yeah, that's a raid.
And it's funny because in the BlizzCon where they announced Cataclysm, they did like the exact same thing where they had a design document for the underwater raid. And it just never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
But they had it just like that, like circles. It was like Eternal Palace.
Kata had an underwater raid?
Yeah.
It was planned.
And then they didn't do that shit for like 7 years.
That's
So
the line of
Fury of
story.
the Firelands was supposed to be a fire and water kind of contrast, and Neptulon was going to be the final boss of the water.
Whoa.
We talked about this.
guys, what if like in a
Ooh.
future season they do like the water raid?
Ooh.
But the reason they had such a bad response to Bashir. Bashir was hated when it came out.
Yeah.
And so
Hey,
they axed the raid because
Papa
of it. They're
Cheese.
like,
It's hated now. I hate that
I don't
place.
think I always did Hyjal. I don't think I've ever done it.
I like Bashir, but only because it's weird. Like only because nothing else is like it. But then I'm like, that's why people didn't like it.
But
So
Hyjal was such like a historic place.
yeah. So even then,
We haven't talked about the hero talents, the dumb.
we haven't made
or
it.
the
Any,
war
guys,
fans.
guys, time wise, we are still at like what, like the first fifth of our day. Like we.
Well, we're just focusing on the WoW stuff, and
Yeah,
I think honestly we're wrapping up on like the new like zones. So
On
What are you looking at me for?
Because you got to show up again.
what time are we on?
we are at 1:38.
What's normally the
1:30 is what we
Like
normally.
1:30 is usually.
Now we're cutting all
the
this.
announcement-
Now we're cutting
announcement
this.
special.
You'll get more detail from
Yeah.
on the features I just said tomorrow, anyways.
All right. So here's the plan.
They didn't really give us much up Delve. So.
We're gonna cut it here. I think is what we're
Yeah.
gonna do, and then we're gonna see how we feel tomorrow. Come back. There's just so much information to our brains. We had a lot going on. We saw some of you today. It was great. We ran into Cilantro. We played some Battlegrounds. We hung out. We ran into Ahoy Vince in line for the same Battlegrounds. What the fuck? We had an interview with our boy Patrick, and the interviewer, man, was someone who we've seen at like every other BlizzCon. The Gen Gramian guy who drags the Alliance flag around with all the Gilneans. Papa Cheese, he loves this man. Papa?
I don't know if I love him, but I remember.
But you remember it.
I do remember.
He screamed the first year. He was like, "Kinza!"
Like,
So it's not a war game. Gilneans aren't war games.
As he very clearly showed today.
Listen, not every Gilnean has to be a Wolfman. Tess said so. Also, where was Tess in this Avengers Endgame shit?
not a team
She
player.
probably fucking stayed home. Because Gen turned
Oh, no,
into a
Aaron-
wolf, and he was like, "That's really fucked up what you said in the honey, look at this Worgen heritage armor, and you told everyone to not be a Worgen."
Guys, I mentioned Tess around Aaron. Oh, God, we gotta get out of here. If you have any comments, questions, complaints, send it over to donotrelentlpod@gmail.com.
Go check out the DNR link tree at linktr.ee/do not relent.
You can find me, Alex, or Immunization on Twitter at New Era Alex, or on Blue Sky at Immunization.
Everyone's looking at Papa Cheese.
Papa Cheese, give us your links.
So, yeah, what do you gotta promote? What do you gotta promote?
Last time I said my links, I said mail.
All right, what do you
Well,
got this time?
Excuse me, last time you said your links, you said you were homework burner at AOL.com.
You remember that?
So is it, yes,
It was
How the
Yahoo.com.
it was Yahoo. So can we still reach you at homework burner at Yahoo?
I think so. I don't. Yeah, sure.
Perfect.
Inbox full.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah,
We don't-
probably
we don't know.
like on God, where you got more to say. See you later.